Once in a blue moon, when you are playing white, you are going to face this unusual defense by black. It all starts when you play e4 and your opponent replies by playing b6, which characterizes the Owen's defense. It's not a very common opening, but you might be prepared for this. I mean, you should be prepared because your opponents might use this against you as a surprise weapon because it's not a very common opening, and this might get you unprepared. But before we begin talking about this opening, I would like you to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Welcome to the channel, I'm Victor, this is What the Fork Chess, and I post videos pretty much every day with chess tips for improvement in general. So if you want to improve your chess, don't be shy, just click the button down below and subscribe to the channel. Alright, this opening, in my opinion, is not very good because instead of black trying to fight the center with some pawn pushes, where you actually place a pawn in the center, you are just using a flank opening. The idea here when playing b6 is to fianchetto the bishop here and kind of attack the center, white center, from afar. This idea is like a hyper-modern approach when you actually use these flank openings and you let white take the center and then you counterattack with your pieces. But this is rather difficult to do, especially if you are a beginner, so I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. So what we're gonna do here is whenever black allows us to push two pawns on the center of the board, we're going to do that unless we have a very good reason not to. But here, black is pretty much allowing us to have these two strong pawns in the center, so that's what we're gonna do. And their plan is to just fianchetto and attack this pawn. This pawn is undefended now, it's hanging, so we have to defend it. And a lot of people, most people, play knight here. So this is the most common move probably. And that's what your opponent is expecting you to do. And after that, they're going to play this move and go ahead and pin your knight here. That's one of the most common approaches. So by pinning your knight, they're hoping for you to forget that this knight can't recapture this pawn. And they are hoping to end up winning this pawn. But we're not going to play into their line. What we're going to do here is after the opponent develops this bishop, we are going to develop our bishop, and we're not going to defend the pawn with the knight. We're actually going to defend it with the bishop. And this basically means it's impossible for black to go ahead and play this move because there is no knight here to be pinned. So that move makes no sense at all. We can just push c3 here and kick that bishop away if they ever do that. So this is actually already putting some questions to black. And they're going to have to change their moves a little bit because we're not actually going for the moves they are hoping for. We are going for a sideline. So we are surprising them actually. And here, of course, that's what they know. They are expecting to play this, but we're not going to allow them to pin our knight over there. We're actually going to develop the other knight, the f3, reinforcing our pawn here. And after, let's say, knight f6, we're going to push the pawn. So reinforced by our knight, everything here is very well defended. And your opponent can go wrong right from the start here, right from this point. If they play, for example, knight e4, which is actually played sometimes. If you check the Lee Chess database, you can see that some games actually exist in this position. And this is pretty bad. This knight is going to be a target now. We're going to develop the queen, hitting this knight over here. They're not going to get any easy tricks over here or here. It's not gonna happen. Now we have a lot of pieces attacking this knight, and they have to defend it again. The only thing they can do that is decent is playing this one to defend it with the pawn, right? So we're not going to take here. But we can put more pressure by developing the knight, and now we're hitting it. Their best bet is to just trade the knight. We just take back with the bishop. We have all these pieces developed. And look at black's position. There's basically no development whatsoever. This bishop is staring at its own pawn chain. So pretty much white is just better in this position. If they start pushing the pawns, you just consolidate your pawn chain. Too late for them to go for development moves now because you are just complete in development, and you can start attacking now. You can have the initiative. If they ever castle kingside here, it's pretty bad for them because you have a lot of pieces pointing at the kingside. You can bring your queen and your knight in a moment's notice. So this is very bad for them. So, of course, the right move to play here is knight d5. And we're going to keep attacking that knight. And the knight's going to have to move again. You're going to see that this is just great for us. Here, they are actually hitting our bishop, so we slowly drop our bishop back. We don't want them to trade this knight because we're actually going to take it most of the times. And a lot of players, they go wrong here in this position. Because after they develop their bishop, they don't have many squares to go here, right? So they have to develop to b7 here, to e7 here, so they can castle. And after they do that, we actually start harassing this knight. The right move here is to actually drop this knight here to a6, which is very unnatural. And they are going to run into all sorts of attacks here. So if your opponent just goes to c6 with the knight, what's going to happen is that we're going to push d5, and now we are attacking the knight one more time. They have to move the knight again. But if they come here with the knight, we can keep attacking it. So they have no option here. They have to take the pawn. We take back, taking the knight one more time. And if they try to escape, again, we have this very powerful move here, b4, attacking the knight. The knight has just no squares to run. They will have to sacrifice the knight. They basically lose a piece here. You just take it, they develop the knight, you castle, and the game is pretty much over here. If they push e6, you can trade. If they take with the queen, you can take you can trade the queens because you are up a piece anyway, so that's good for you. And you can start finishing your development by bringing the knight over here. You can bring this bishop over here, maybe to another square, wherever you prefer. You just trade everything off and you are winning this game. The end game will be much better for you for sure. So that's pretty much how I do it. If they castle, say, king side or queen side, they castle king side here, I think it's a good idea to just tickle this rook over here, forcing them to play other weakening moves. But we can do many other things here. That's pretty much how I play against this system. Whenever my opponent goes for b6, I know they're going to go for this, this, and this. So I'm not going to give them what they want. I'm going to defend my pawn with my bishop and start my attack over here. So I have a very powerful center here, and that knight's going to be jumping all over the board until I finally end up winning it. So that's pretty much how I play this against this opening. And leave a comment down below if you have a refutation for this, or if you think this is not the best approach against the Owen's defense, or if you were an Owen's defense player yourself. Just tell me what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe as well. We are almost hitting the 1,000 subscriber mark, so it would be really nice. I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. So as always, I see you guys in the next video.